to Healthy and Active in the Couve. I'm going to make sure that my camera doesn't fall over. I'm a personal trainer at Northwest Personal Training. And with me today is Trent Corey, who is a physical therapist. And I will let him kind of describe what he does as a physical therapist. But I'd love to talk about with Trent today, heart health.
Excellent. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm Dr. Trent Corey. I'm extramural physical therapy in Vancouver and Salmon Creek area. And yeah, I definitely treat with runners and active people, people with graying hair and wanting staying active. And it's important for us to talk about things that keep us healthy and a longevity aspect to make sure we're having a healthy, long life. So yeah, I'm excited to talk about it.
Awesome. I'm excited also a lot because next week you and I are going to be part of a panel in conjunction with the American Heart Association. And we're going to be talking all about heart health and controversies within that. But today I want to get your opinion on what is the best couple of ways that you think, from your point of view as a physical therapist, to keep your heart healthy.
Yeah, from my perspective, obviously I work with people with injuries, and a big problem what I kind of notice with people is that they become less active as they age because you look back and you go, wow, they had an injury of some sort. Maybe it was some sort of knee surgery, maybe they torqued it or something, or maybe an old basketball injury from a long time ago, even high school type stuff. And you realize these people had generally just decreased their activity over time, and is because of something that was rooted in mobility issues. And then when things started hurting, they just stopped moving a little bit more. And lifestyle just happens to be that way for most people as they age. They may just become a little bit more comfortable in their lifestyle, and they just don't have anything that really pushes them and that kind of thing. But I find that to be an important thing to look into, is that when people have some sort of injury of some sort, that they take care of those things so that they can go out and do those active things, right? Going working out at a gym, or going to some vigorous hikes, or those kind of things that they may not necessarily do because, hey, I don't know how I'm going to hold up, or I'm going to have to pay for it later. And that just leads to things. And we've got to talk about over time how much we might be having this effect because of this kind of, I don't want to say forced sedentariness, but like a lot of people try to push through it, but it
Yeah.
becomes a trend for too many people that they do less and less, and then they don't do as much. And then heart health can be factored with that as well, with different eating habits and that kind of thing as well. So yeah, super important topic to talk about.
With COVID and the lockdown, so many of my clients had gotten super sedentary and gained a lot of pounds. And just for my aspect of heart health, for every pound of fat or adipose tissue, there's an extra like 5 to 7 miles of blood vessels in each pound of fat. So that's so much extra pressure for the heart to pump through, on top of just the different ways that you're not moving, like you were saying. So what do you think is the best way? And I've got my opinion, but I'm not a physical therapist. The best way, cardio wise or strength training wise, or a mix of both of those, to lessen the effect of the heart pressure and build up from that extra adipose tissue.
Yeah, I think generally just having a good, sensible, repeatable plan that you can stay consistent with is kind of above all, right? Just making sure that you're getting in some good, strong activation of muscles. So you got, some body pump, you're doing some weight bearing, you're definitely doing some things that get the muscles getting a little bit more than just chronic cardio, where people just, and runners, we're guilty of this. Like, we like to run. So like we just want to just do that. Well, that can create this cycle that actually isn't as healthy for our heart as we had first believed, so we got to make sure we watch our systemic inflammation, things that we like to eat, like candy and cookies and things that we can have a little bit here and there. And actually a lot of people who are a little more active, they think that they may be able a little more deserving of a little extra snack here and there. And I think that really it's okay to have every once in a while, but just make sure that we're being aware of things that might cause more of a systemic inflammation that happens throughout our body, and then that can manifest as heart problems. And we definitely have to look at what's going on with our family history, that no matter how active you are, if you have a family history of heart problems, then you're definitely much more, you got to be a lot more dialed in and making sure you're paying attention to those things. So yeah, so in terms of activity, it's not all about just pure aerobic activity. It's doing some good outbursts of movement, making sure your muscles are kicking on, and kicking on that endorphin response, and those endocrine responses that happen from actually moving your body with resistance. So yeah.
Well, I'm 100% on board with that. In fact, I've got a story myself where I gave up heavy lifting and bodybuilding for running 6 miles a day. And I ended up gaining a lot of weight. I got up to 300 pounds. And it wasn't because of the running necessarily, but I was also a professional musician at the time, and I was sleeping odd hours, not resting enough because I had a day job also. And then drinking lots of coffee with milk and sugar in it. And I was carbo loading every day and treating myself with sweets because I was running, and then getting a Gatorade at the gas station at the end of the 3 miles before I headed back. So all the things I thought I was doing to help myself was actually the wrong things. And I was building up too much cortisol, which led into I call it like this cortisol fat loop, where my
Yeah.
adipose tissue did more of a hormone response and I couldn't get out of it.
Definitely, and then you crave it more, and it just becomes something you just keep doing as a cycle. It definitely becomes a really hard thing to us to break. So it's a great point you bring up about that, that we might need to make sure that we're watching all those things that are creating those processes. And you said a big thing also about sleep. I mean, gosh, the circadian rhythms we need to get, that's so important that we understand that our bodies are synced to the clock of that. And once we start to think we're doing too much at once, and we're causing more problems than good. So actually, you can actually sleep your way to better health, less weight. It doesn't always have to be this, oh, I gotta pump it and work harder. I think that's what the notion has been for so long. And definitely there's aspects of it. We got to stay active, and generally we're not maybe as active as we need to, but sometimes we do that latter part that you were just talking about, really overdoing, and then we are paying for it in that cortisol response, and that inflammatory response in your body, trying to cope with whatever your stresses you're actually adding to the system. And stresses can be good, but we got to make sure we're managing those well, and we're giving our body recovery.
Yeah, absolutely. One of my favorite training programs that turned my life around before I started hiring my personal trainers and then became one myself was um, this training program that had the full calendar on it. And the first 2 days assigned before you started were rest, because this trainer thought it was so important to get that ingrained in you that you're going to get best results when you adequately rest, not just work hard, but rest hard as well. So I'm a big advocate for that as well.
Yeah.
Um, on a different topic, same kind of a thing. There's a new form of training, and I'm just curious because it's so new if you've heard of it, but it's called rehit training, and it's basically two full-on explosive movements, kind of like sprinting as hard as you can for as long as you can, whether that's 10 or 20 seconds, and then resting for 2 minutes, even flat against the ground, so that your heart doesn't have to work against gravity.
Yeah.
And then that way you get this fight or flight response, but then you get out of it, and it teaches your heart to full on pump large volumes at a slower rate rather than tiny volumes at a fast rate.
Okay.
I'm just if you've heard of that, or if that's just new science that I caught onto from a podcast.
No, no, it sounds really interesting. I think the idea is strong, in that we need to do things that we get our body going. I heard a stat about, like, it's like a very high percentage of people after age 30, they never sprint again in their life. Like
Yeah,
something like it's like 90 some percent of people like don't ever like do that sprinting ever again. And a lot of it's because of injuries, that kind of thing. But like that quick burst of that activity can create that response in your body, and it's almost like these the Tabata sets, or there's something that's really quick, and then you take the break. So um I've noticed some things kind of like there's something called TRE, where you do this like really hard exercise, or you're basically doing like an isometric for a long time until your legs shake, and then you lay down. and you're trying to create that shift. I know a chi running instructor who does that type of thing. Really cool stuff, and that you're creating this whole other nervous system reaction of our bodies being able to right ourselves and be in control more of that. That you know, this autonomic part, we do have actually more control than we have been led to believe at the beginning of this, where it just, oh, it just automatically happens. Well, actually, we have ability to control our heart rate, and we're able to do that kind of thing. So we're much more powerful than we think.
Absolutely, I agree. And as a yoga teacher, one of the first things that I do is I teach people how to breathe and kind of go through this nervous system response with the vagus nerve, and kind of get you out of fight or flight. And that's one of the things with the rehit training, is it's kind of teaching you to that you're being chased by a tiger and that you won the battle, you escaped, and that you're okay. And then all of those responses take away that cortisol response and give you more like more serotonin and dopamine and GABA, all those like
Yep.
really good things. And then, but ultimately, it lowers your blood pressure, it lowers your stress, and it helps you heal. It brings, like, I think, more human growth hormone, and stimulation for your nerves to relax and your muscles to grow and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm excited
Yeah.
to have more about it.
That's lovely. That's exactly right. I mean, the more you can kind of get your body into that healing mode, out of fight or flight and into rest and digest, our
Yeah.
body are able to then know, hey, it's okay, and it's time to activate a healing response a little bit more. So that's always a wonderful thing, that we want to make sure that we're kicking that process on, and that we're not just you know, kind of going through pushing all the time. You know, if and letting you know that the tiger is gone, right? It allows us to realize that most of the time, and like, we do have stressors in our lives, but like most of the time, like almost all of the time actually, that we're okay. We're okay right now, you know? And that's that signal. It's that signal, and whatever you do through the breathing, but just connecting into now, just making sure that we're, you know, right now everything's okay. A lot of times our minds are jumping to what happened and what I could have done about that, or what's in the future and what I need to do right now. How can you be right now? And the breathing's one of the best ways. The touch of the breath, just feeling the air in and through your nostrils, allows you to connect here with your body in the here and now, and allows you to be a lot more able to be present versus just kind of all scattered and that kind of thing. So yeah, just it's a wonderful thing, wonderful practice.
That's awesome. That sounds a lot like mindfulness meditation. And I know you do chi running, which is based off of it was Tai Chi, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And
So
so, yeah.
I'm promoting your chi running and everything, and definitely want to keep promoting the things that we're doing at Northwest Personal Training, which is one of them is next week, the 27th, which is a Tuesday. You're going to be speaking on a panel with me with the American Heart Association about heart health. I just want to keep making our listeners aware of that, and I'll have information about them. But to summarize, I think, would you say that one of the best ways physiologically, exercise wise, for our heart health is to be active and also change things up with our methods?
Yeah, definitely, you know, doing the same old kind of becomes this rut, and we want to make sure we're dynamic. That's good in our brain, but our, you know, brain and our heart talk to each other all the time. And so we want to make sure that we have something that's gives us a little bit more of connection to other people. And there's all these genuine feelings that come from the heart. Actually, there's this thing called heart math, which is amazing. That thinking of regenerative thinking, that's a really fascinating process. But basically, that when we mix up our exercise and we do different things to help ourselves um, feel different feelings of euphoria and changing things and making challenges, that makes our body a lot more resilient, and we train our hearts to become able to adapt to, like you said, going harder sometimes, like a little faster, but also being able to connect to the things you said about being mindful and being in control of how those feelings, and creating that change in your heart, and making sure you're feeling like you're getting those amazing shifts of consciousness and bliss. You know, that's what's a great thing about it, is that it's more than just physiological. It's just move, and all that kind of stuff. It's more this genuine feeling that more we can connect heart to heart. It's a much better place to live in.
Absolutely. And you just reminded me too, on the heart level, even a metaphor for the heart when we're connecting with people. back to the physiology, away from the metaphor, but to use both of them at the same time. When we connect with people, we get that hormonal response of oxytocin.
Yeah.
And yeah, hierarchy of hormones that a lot of people have, oxytocin is above cortisol and can lower that. So when we're doing exercise in a group setting and we're making good connections with people,
Yes.
we have oxytocin, and which lowers our cortisol, which is always better for heart health and makes you feel connected heart to heart with people also. So that's a 2-in-1 for the metaphor.
I
So
love
thanks
it.
for that up. Yeah,
Yeah, that's great. And that's the thing. We're a community. We're people. We want to run together. We want to work out together. We're here for a long longevity and a good life. Those connections we make create those feelings of, like we hear about heartache or loneliness, those kind of things. We want to make sure we are making those connections. It's more than just all physiological, but we can hack the system to become better with movement, and then we also have each other to lean on, and it's hard enough on our own, so it's good to have each other.
absolutely. I agree 100%. Um, and speaking of that, at Northwest Personal Training, we've got group classes, which I just want to promote that we not only just have group classes here, but a lot of the members that have had experience in our group classes have become lifelong friends. And so we've got a community here that we build. It's not just a gym. It's about bringing people together also, and that's all part of healing. And that's one of my favorite aspects of working here at Northwest Personal Training. Just even running into people like you and I met here because you did a talk once, and I really love talking about barefoot running and just physiology and overall health. And then now here we are doing more talks and then even making a podcast. So it's just,
Yeah.
it's fun to get to know people in a community, especially people who are like-minded for holistic health. So I really appreciated meeting you, and then even just have the ability to do this. So
Yeah, it's been absolutely wonderful. It's been actually cool. It's like a really good stimulus to talk about different things that are very important for us to share, and to be able to have that connection with so many other people in your world and my world, and we're able to give people a little better perspective to help them live healthy. So that's what it's all about.
awesome. Well, I look forward to doing more and more talks with you. We're gonna probably wrap it up here. But definitely, if you're able to, if it's not after the event and you're watching this, this next Tuesday, the 27th of February, 6:45, come and check out Trent as he talks with some other doctors. I will be kind of leading the dialogue about, we're going to be talking about heart health and all the things to keep us healthy and safe, especially for our heart. But check that out, and then keep tuning in. We're going to be putting out more and more content holistically, but mostly about activities for keeping your body healthy. So thanks for tuning in. I'm Nick, and this is Trent.
All right. Thanks a lot, Nick. It was great talking to you. Thanks.
Thank you.
All
I'll
right.
see you next.
All right. Yep. Bye.